Hey everyone, so Season 3 is about to begin, and I thought I'd make a quick video to explain what specs I'll be playing in M+ and Raid, and also go through the initial gearing process for the first couple of weeks. So let's get straight into it. When it comes to gearing in the first week, we're going to be spamming M+ to begin with, right? And the first question I had in mind was, when do I drop my set bonus? And it does seem that it's very quickly worth it to drop your 4 set, your current Season 2 4 set, and replacing it with higher item level pieces from M+. So you can see here it's quite a decent increase to drop the 4 set and get higher item level pieces instead. So I'll be doing that for sure. We will be gaining quite a lot of power from the new 4 set as well. So the start of the season, you might seem a little bit weaker than you think than we should be. That's because we will gain a lot of our power from the new 4 set. That's because the Season 2 sets, they were just really, really weak for us. And we, for once, have a good set in Season 3. You might also notice here that my enchants are 2 versatility enchants on my weapons. You might want to see yourself on this one, but for me, these 2 enchants are just 2k behind Authority of the Depths. So Authority of the Depths is a pure single target enchant. So I figured that losing 2k DPS to gain more AoE via these 2 stat enchants is better. You can stim yourself and see if it's the same for you. Also worth checking the other stat enchants as well. But for me, the verse one seems the best because I have so much verse in my gear. No, I have so little verse in my gear already. Right. This is also the build that I'll be playing in M+ initially. The reason for this is a lot of people are going to ask, why am I playing Slayer in M+ and not Thane? The reason for that is that Slayer got buffed quite a lot on the PTR over time, and is actually better than Thane now. But that changes again when we get the new 4 sets, because the new 4 set for Thane is really strong and will make it better than Slayer in M+. But until you get the new 4 set, Slayer is better in every situation. So first week, before you get the set, play Slayer and everything. When you get the new sets, you can play Slayer in Raid, and then Mountain Thane in M+. That would be optimal. If you want to keep playing Slayer the whole time, that is fine too, but you are going to do less overall than Thane. But it's not that far behind, not as far behind as it was in the previous 2 seasons anyway. So that's also my prediction for when it comes to Arms versus Fury as well, by the way. Arms is tuned really weak right now, so I think Arms just isn't really going to be a spec that I'll play unless they buff it and make it stronger than Fury. But right now, that doesn't seem to be the case. Arms can match Fury in M+, probably, with the new sets. Colossus Arms versus Thane Fury, you can probably do the same amount of overall damage, but Colossus single target is so weak that I would not recommend that. It would be suboptimal, because Fury can do the same overall as Arms whilst being target capped somehow, and it brings way more single targets, so it's just better. Also, one big gripe I have about Arms is that for Mythic Plus, the spec doesn't look so nice to play. It's already quite annoying to play Arms, I think, Demolish, and now we're adding Skull Splitter to the mix as well, because the Colossus set increases bleed damage, which makes Skull Splitter now worth running. I don't know, a big fan of that. So I would probably prefer not to play Arms for the whole season, because it just isn't that enjoyable to play, in my opinion. Anyway, I should talk about the crafting situation as well. I think pretty much in every situation you're going to want to craft a max item level weapon, which means waiting with your first craft until week 3. That kind of sucks, but I believe that is worth it. You can sim yourself, of course, and make a decision based on what you loot in Mythic Plus, what you get in the Vault, what you get in Raid. But I think in pretty much every case, most people are going to do a weapon craft. It is just the most efficient, and also you got to keep in mind that if you do go with this stat, armor pieces, your boot slot will be taken, your cloak slot will be taken. The boot slot is taken by the stat boosting boots in the Raid. So realistically, the only 2 pieces that you can put stat things on would be your bracers and belt. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, it sucks that you're restricted to exactly those 2 pieces. let's go into more detail about talents then. So like I say, week 1, before I get into tier set pieces, I'll be playing Slayer for both M+ and Raid. And I'll probably move the point away from fast footwork into Stonebolt here, but other than that, the spec will look something like this. When I get the new tier set pieces, I will be changing to Mountain Thane in M+, and the Mountain Thane build here on Wowhead is the one I'll be using, and you may have noticed a few differences here compared to what we used to playing in the past seasons. So there's no hack and slash, and there's spear here as well. Let me explain why. So the new tier set piece does emphasize Thunderblast procs a lot, which means that Bloodthirst becomes your main button that you want to be pressing, because Bloodthirst is what procs Thunderblast, which means that you don't get as much time to press Raging Blow, which means hack and slash doesn't have as much value anymore. And for Spear is technically better than taking 2 points in Cruel Strikes and 1 point in Thunderous Roar, but only marginally so. It's only like 0.5 to 1% better on Sims to take Champion Spear. But to me, that isn't enough of a difference to recommend it over Cruel Strikes and Thunderous Roar. Thunderous Roar hits like this big of an area, right? And it's much easier to use. It's just fire and forget. Whereas Spear, it just hits this small of an area and you have to aim it as well. So I will be playing Thunderous Roar. I think many people will opt to do the same as well. I think it's just easier to use and more versatile because you can just use it while the tank is gathering mobs. You may be able to start your opener slightly sooner with Thunderous Roar compared to Spear because you don't need the mobs to be fully gathered. So yeah, that's that. The raid build changes very slightly as well. There's no Vicious Contempt because Raging Blow with the Slayer sets is even better than it is currently. So Bloodthirst has just been phased out pretty much, and you pretty much never press it as Slayer. As for Arms, this is Arms is a spec that I'm not going to be playing at all because it's just undertuned, and I don't think it has a place in Raid or M+, compared to Fury right now. But if you insist on playing it, this is the Raid spec. Slayer, of course, and for Mythic Plus, Colossus is the play. It can do similar overall as Fury Thane, because it does a decent amount of uncapped damage, but its single target damage is so weak that I wouldn't recommend playing it for, if you're trying to push the highest keys possible, because that single target really, really holds it back. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I've got to say about what to do these next few weeks. I hope you found the video useful, and I will see you in Season 3.